On the evening of March 15th, 2022, Navy veteran Justin Peoples pulled into a Cheveron gas station in Tracy, California, a town roughly 60 miles east of San Francisco. The 30-year-old father of two who lived in nearby Stockton had presumably headed for the gas station for gas supplies, or both. Just after 9 p.m, whilst in the store, he was allegedly approached by 42-year-old Christina Garner and her 49-year-old boyfriend Jeremy Jones. In what police say was an unprovoked attack, the pair allegedly set upon Justin, subjecting him to a vicious ordeal, Christina shooting and Jeremy stabbing him multiple times. The pair would then flee the scene and emergency services were called. When police arrived at the scene, they noticed Justin had been bleeding out on the floor, but was alive. And some reports say at that point it looked as if he was going to survive, but sadly he would go on to die a short while later after being rushed to hospital. So a homicide investigation was opened by police, and quite literally the day after, Christina and Jeremy were located by police. To no surprise then, as Jeremy had a long list of convictions dating back to 2007, which included charges for stolen property and various violent felonies. In the early stages of the investigation, police determined that Justin did nothing to provoke the attack that left him for dead, and originally they described it as a senseless act of violence. They were puzzled as to what the alleged motive could have been behind the killing. But after digging deep into their social media profiles and taking a deeper look into the various tattoos that they had on their body, a motive, a sickening one, became more clear. It was because he was black. In a recent update into the case as of a few days ago, the district attorney released more information surrounding the investigation and told reporters how Jeremy had various tattoos linking him to white supremacist movements. White pride and a swastika were noted as key tattoos, but it wasn't just the tattoos. Social media posts on Facebook from Jeremy often featured homages to various images and quotes that were linked to white supremacist groups. So again, the DA firmly believes that this attack was purely down to the colour of Justin's skin. This is what the DA and Justin's family had to say in regards to the most recent updates.
Investigators now calling the murder of a black man in Tracy this week a random hate crime. The district attorney saying she wouldn't have added the charge without evidence showing hate beyond the shadow of a doubt.
Today, an emotional outpouring from his family describing a Navy veteran who served his country only to be shot and stabbed on his home turf.
He was just a remarkable young man. He was a remarkable young man.
Maurice Peoples held up pictures of his son Justin proudly, but with a heavy heart. The 30-year-old Navy veteran and father of two from Stockton was shot and then stabbed multiple times at a Tracy gas station this week. Investigators say evidence points to a hate crime.
From what we've gathered, it was unprovoked, and again, a senseless act of violence.
49-year-old Jeremy Jones and 42-year-old Christina Garner are facing murder charges, and a third suspect is now charged as an accessory after the fact. The district attorney says evidence, including the suspect's history, led to an added hate crime charge.
Support of Nazi, white pride, skinhead, Aryan Brotherhood.
The DA released pictures of Jones's tattoos showing the words white pride and swastikas on his arms. People's family now calling on the community to come together.
Today is his child. Tomorrow it just might be mine. And tomorrow it just might be yours. So I'm asking everyone, I don't care what color you are, you stand for this baby that didn't deserve to die.
This is where racism stops, right here.
Right now.
Racism stops right here. Justice for Justin.
Maurice says he just received a text from his son saying he'd see him for lunch the next day. Justin was murdered hours later.
It's gonna always hurt. You know, I wouldn't wish this upon one of my worstest enemies. You know, it's gonna be a hard, long trial and tribulations with me in my heart.
The pair have since been charged with murder in relation to a hate crime, and a third person, Christopher Angelo Domenco, has since gone on to be arrested and charged for abetting the pair's escape. But his image isn't currently out there for public use. It's sad to think in America though, you can go out, serve your country in a time of war, but the exact people you would put your life on the line for allegedly kill you just because you have a different skin colour to them. That just completely baffles me. Even if he wasn't a veteran, the point still stands. For you to just kill a man unprovoked because he's black is very sickening, but it just goes to show you that racism is still alive and well in America. I don't know how many times I've got to say this as well, but in times like this, we have to think of the kids. The man's left 2 children behind now, just because he took a trip to the gas station and bumped into 2 racists that allegedly wanted to end his life. His father said he'd been a hard worker all his life as well. He'd, at the time, been working 2 jobs. He was trying to save to buy his own house. And sadly that can't happen now. Imagine when those babies grow up as well. The story that they'll be told about their father's death is going to be extremely harrowing for them. And again, at times like this, we just have to think about those children. If I do get any updates coming from this case, as always, I will keep you guys posted on this one. But for now, give the video a like for more crime related content like this, and make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't. It's been me, Ape Huncho, and I'll see you in the next one.